My name is Ryan. I was 34, a project coordinator for a telecom firm in Karachi. The kind of guy who color codes his spreadsheets, always returns grocery carts to the corral, and doesn't raise his voice unless someone cuts the cake unevenly at office birthdays. Sarah and I had been together for years, engaged for one. The wedding was 6 days away. We had matching mugs, matching toothbrush holders, matching playlists for every drive longer than 20 minutes. That Sunday evening, I stopped by the grocery store after a long day of final prep with the caterers. I still had the checklist in my back pocket. Chicken stock, milk, eggs, and ice cream for Sarah, mint chocolate chip, her favorite since college. I was humming when I turned onto our block. The air smelled like impending rain, and a few dogs barked down the street, familiar, comfortable. Then I saw it. IMRA and single quotes S car, parked at the curb near our building. Engine still running. The headlights were off, but the low growl was unmistakable. I knew that car inside out. We'd done countless road trips together, fought over aux cord supremacy, fixed its broken AC with duct tape and prayers. What I didn't expect was to see Sarah in the passenger seat, barefoot. Her heels were tossed carelessly in the back seat. Her hair, the curls she always pinned up for errands, was down, a little messy in the way that only happens when someone's hands have been in it. Her eyes were wide, panicked. She reached for the door handle. I didn't move. I was just standing there, groceries in one hand, milk bag slowly leaking onto my shoe, watching the woman I was supposed to marry, curled up like she was escaping the world, next to the man who had been my shadow since freshman year of university. I don't think we should do this here, she whispered. That's what she said. Not Ryan. I can explain. It's not what it looks like. Just that. My brain short-circuited. I remember glancing at the license plate, like maybe I had it all wrong, like it could still be someone else's Civic. But of course it wasn't. I took one step closer. Shoes off, I said quietly. Hair down. And you're whispering, Ryan, please. I turned my head just slightly, looked at Imran. He didn't meet my eyes, kept staring forward like a cab driver waiting for the green light. My heart didn't shatter. It didn't even break. It folded, like someone carefully creasing paper before a tear. I brought your ice cream, I said dumbly. It's melting. That's the moment that hit me hardest. Not catching her, not seeing him, but realizing I was still trying to be kind, still holding the bag like some dutiful fiancée, even as the world burned politely round me. Ryan, she said again, more urgently this time. I let the groceries slip from my hand. The milk hit the pavement first, bursting at the corner. White spilled everywhere. It soaked my jeans, my shoes, maybe my pride too. Eggs followed with a dull crack. Ice cream rolled toward the gutter. Neither of them moved. I crouched, picked up the ring of keys I'd dropped, and stood back up slowly. My voice was steady, colder than I'd expected. How long? Her mouth opened and closed like a faulty hinge. Ryan, don't do this. How long? Imran finally looked at me. There was guilt in his eyes, sure, but also cowardice, the kind that doesn't ask forgiveness. It just hopes you'll make the pain easier for them. A few months, she whispered. I nodded once. No screaming, no fists, just milk on the sidewalk and the sound of my own breath trying to remember how to be steady, right? I said. And then I stepped back, let the silence fill the car, let their shame sit with them, cold and cramped, because I wasn't going to break the silence for them ever again. She opened the door just slowly, like she was hoping the delay might reverse time, like I'd blink and forget everything I'd just seen. The street was quiet except for the low thrum of Imran's engine. A couple walked their dog on the far side of the road. I doubt they noticed anything. To them, it was just another car, another couple, another quiet Sunday unraveling in the city. Sarah stepped out of the car. Her bare feet touched the pavement like she was waking from a dream. This isn't, please. I cut her off. Don't insult both of us. It's not what it looks like. I actually smiled. Not out of humor, out of the kind of disbelief that's so sharp, it rounds into something almost calm. In your shoes off voice, I asked. Really? Her shoulders slumped. IMRA and still hadn't moved. His hands were on the steering wheel, but he wasn't driving, just staring ahead like the traffic light was stuck on red and he was the unlucky fool waiting for green. I turned to him. You're not gonna say anything? He finally looked at me. I saw his mouth twitch like he was rehearsing a line. Then he muttered, it just started. I never meant to hurt you. There it was, the excuse of amateurs. It just started? My voice was low, almost curious, like I genuinely wanted to understand how betrayal timed itself to a calendar. I never meant. You meant everything you planned, I said. You just didn't plan the consequences. Sarah stepped closer. Ryan, I swear it wasn't supposed to be. Supposed to be what? I asked. Serious? Ongoing? Real? She was crying now, but it wasn't loud. The tears slid down her face like they were ashamed to exist. I didn't move to comfort her, not out of cruelty, out of clarity. I was finally seeing her, not the version I'd spent for years building stories around. Just her. How long? I asked again. A few months, she said. Before or after the engagement. Her eyes darted to IMRA and double quotes Sarah. Before. She whispered. It felt like being handed the summary of a movie you hadn't seen, but thought you were the main character in. I took a breath, steadying the weight in my chest. You could have told me. I didn't know how, she said. It got complicated as math, I said. This was cowardice. Imran stepped out then. He looked smaller outside the car, less like a threat, more like a kid caught stealing from a friend's lunchbox. I didn't want to lose our friendship, he said. But you didn't mind gutting it, I replied. He had no answer for that. Sarah reached for my hand. I stepped back. Don't, I said. You lost the right to hold anything that still belongs to me. Her lips trembled. I didn't mean for this to happen. Of course she did in single quotes. No one ever means for betrayal to grow roots. They just water it in secret and hope it never blooms where anyone can see. I looked at the ground, at the milk still pooled near my feet, at the trail of cracked eggs leading back toward our apartment. I'd never felt so far from home. Were you ever going to tell me? I asked. The silence that followed was louder than any answer she could have given. That was the real betrayal, not the cheating. The assumption that I'd never find out. Or worse, that if I did, I'd just swallow it, patch over it, pretend. I turned and started walking. Neither of them followed. Not then. Not yet. The next morning, the apartment felt like a set after the final scene of a play. Too quiet, too clean, like nothing had ever happened there. Sarah hadn't come home. Imran hadn't called. I brewed coffee I didn't drink and sat by the window, staring at the dented car parked where his used to be. I didn't cry, not because it didn't hurt, but because the hurt had already settled into something heavier. Something still. At noon, someone buzzed. I didn't answer. At 1, the door shook with a knock. Then another. Ryan, please. Sarah's voice through the wood. She didn't know I was leaning against it from the other side. I just want to talk, but I'd already heard everything I needed to. The truth, like bleach, doesn't need repeating. It just stains, then settles. Later that night, I got a message from Imran. Long, emotional. Regret was spelled out like it was a foreign language he'd just learned to pronounce. He used phrases like I lost myself, and I never valued you enough. He called me brother. I deleted it. 2 days before the wedding, I canceled the venue. No explanations. Just called and said, we won't need it anymore. The woman on the other end offered condolences like someone had died. Maybe someone had. I called my parents next. My mom asked if I was okay. I lied on what should have been our rehearsal night. Sarah came again. This time she brought the ring in a velvet box. Not the original one I proposed with. A different box. One that looked more like a return than a keepsake. She tried to hand it to me. I shook my head. No, I said. You don't get to hand it back like a sweater that didn't fit. Then what do you want? I want you to understand that it meant something. I know, she whispered. No, I said again, firmer this time. If you knew, you wouldn't have waited until I saw it with my own eyes. Her hands shook. I thought I could fix it, that we could get past it. I stepped closer. You don't fix a house by setting fire to it and hiding the ashes in the closet, she laughed. A bitter, broken sound. So that's it? I nodded. She looked down at the ring. Then, slowly, she slid it off her finger and placed it on the step between us. Goodbye, Ryan. Goodbye, Sarah. No hug, no last look. Just to people who had run out of almosts. On the day of the wedding, I walked the city. No tucks, no crowds. Just me and the version of myself that still believed in commitment, trailing behind like a ghost I wasn't ready to bury. But something shifted that day. Not relief. Not yet. Just clarity. I realized the betrayal didn't start in the car. It started the moment they made my trust negotiable. That's what hurt the most. Not the cheating. The quiet expectation that I would choose peace over self-respect. So I didn't. I let go. Not for revenge. Not to prove a point, but because staying would have meant betraying the only person who hadn't lied in that triangle, me.